But of all the jewelry bearing the Faberge stamp, it was the imperial Easter eggs that were the most renowned. They were made at his headquarters on Bolshaya Morskaya Street in St. Petersburg. Faberge himself did not handcraft the eggs, yet his vision and style were present every step of the way. It began with his rough sketch of an idea for an egg. Designers refined it. Then workmasters directed teams of goldsmiths, enamelers, engravers, painters, and jewelers to produce it. It took a year, sometimes two, to create a single imperial egg. If it or any other item did not meet Faberge's approval, it was returned to the workshop to be redone, or destroyed according to tradition by the hammer of Faberge himself.
I think that is a nice little story, a legend, but I think it does illustrate the fact that Faberge must have had an eagle eye to examine every single piece that came from the tens of thousands, we now know, over 100,000 pieces, that they had to be perfect.
Nicholas appreciated Faberge's high standards. He became the jeweler's most famous patron and most effective promoter. In addition to the imperial Easter eggs, he commissioned pins and other trinkets to give away to everyone from foreign dignitaries to humble servants. The ultimate endorsement came when the Tsar selected Faberge to represent Russia at the 1900 Exposition Universelle in Paris. There, the imperial Easter eggs went on public view for the first time. Europeans and Americans received them enthusiastically. The recognition made Faberge one of the most famous jewelers in the world. Faberge's imperial Easter eggs reveal much about their creator's artistic background and influences. Before inheriting the family business, Faberge studied the art of goldsmithing in Paris and other European cities. He also frequented the Hermitage in his native St. Petersburg. There he was inspired by the collections of German and French works amassed by Catherine the Great. Faberge's clever adaptations of the styles he studied and his ability to make them his own gave his eggs as much distinction as their craftsmanship did. Perhaps the most dazzling example of Faberge referencing an artistic style is the Imperial Lilies of the Valley egg, his personal expression of Art Nouveau, a movement sweeping through Europe at the turn of the century.
My favorite egg has to be the Lilies of the Valley egg because it's so over the top. It's very Art Nouveau. It's this wonderful candy box pink with beautiful green leaves and these gorgeous lilies that climb up the side of this egg.
The selection of different sized pearls to indicate a natural range of buds to full blooms demonstrates Faberge's belief that materials should serve the purpose of design. The surprise befits the life-affirming symbolism of the egg. Portraits of Nicholas and the first two children Alexandra bore him, daughters Olga and Tatiana. Eventually, Nicholas and Alexandra had three more children, daughters Maria and Anastasia, and their only son and heir to the throne, Alexei. The family would become the center of the Tsar's life.
Nicholas was as good a father as he was a poor Tsar. He loved being with his family. They withdrew to these suburban palaces because he did not like public events, public affairs. He hated the council meetings and the meetings with ministers and so forth that he had to have. What he liked was to have tea with his family, with his daughters playing around him.
The Tsar's family, both the one he was born into and his own, were frequent subjects for Faberge eggs. Nicholas had spent his childhood at Gatchina, a 900-room palace located 25 miles from St. Petersburg. There, his father, Alexander III, had insisted that Nicholas, his two brothers and two sisters, observe a Spartan life, lest they be spoiled. Amidst the opulent surroundings, Nicholas ate simple food, took cold baths, and slept on an army cot. The strict discipline was relieved by his fun-loving mother, Maria Fyodorovna, who let Nicholas and his siblings romp through the grounds when Alexander wasn't looking. Perhaps out of gratitude, Nicholas commissioned Faberge to make the Gatchina Palace egg, which he presented to his mother around 1902. Inside the 5-inch egg is an exact replica of the palace, right down to the statuary, lampposts, and flag flying from a turret. The accuracy extends to the landscaping, including a graveled courtyard. The Gatchina egg is a gilded memorial to the life Nicholas and his mother led at the palace. When Nicholas had his own family, Faberge produced equally shining gifts to remind him of the good life he shared with Alexandra and the children. The Romanovs spent their summers sailing the Gulf of Finland on the Standard, Nicholas's favorite yacht. It was on board the richly appointed vessel that some of the most candid scenes of the Tsar and his family were filmed. The children skating on her deck. And when they were older, the Grand Duchesses dancing with naval officers. To remember these carefree moments, Faberge made the ultimate ship in a bottle, the Imperial Standard egg, presented to Alexander from Nicholas around 1909. Inside the 6-inch rock crystal shell is a gold replica of the yacht, sailing on a sleek wave of aquamarine. The egg is supported by the intertwined tails of 2 lapis lazuli dolphins. The tiered base is layered with rock crystal, diamonds, gold, and white enamel. The handles on either side are 2 imperial eagles. The Tsar's privileged life, as represented by the Standard and Gatchina Palace, insulated him from the masses of Russian people. For them, the nation's rapid industrialization did not bring profit, but poverty. Their poor living and working conditions were as oppressive as their lack of civil rights. Revolution was in the air. In January 1905, the Winter Palace, the Tsar's St. Petersburg residence, became a scene of violence. There, soldiers gunned down hundreds of unarmed striking workers and their families. The massacre became known as Bloody Sunday.
After that, Nicholas became Bloody Nicholas. In the opinion-making centers in the capital, St. Petersburg and Moscow and the other big cities, what it did was indicate to people that Nicholas was out of touch, and that as people were becoming more and more angry, it fueled revolutionary movements.
Bloody Sunday ignited the revolution of 1905. Nicholas would survive this uprising, but not the next one. Before the fall, he celebrated the 15th anniversary of his rule. Faberge would commemorate this historic moment with his most distinctive egg ever.